Conduct competency assessment. Establish the context and purpose of assessment. The assessor must familiarize self with the qualification or unit of competencies to be assessed. Ensure that the assessment site complies with the relevant occupational health and safety requirements. Ensure that the assessment resources are available. The assessor must ensure that the tools, equipment, and facilities are ready and available in the assessment site before the assessment starts. A checklist of tools, equipment, and facilities must be on hand to help the assessor monitor the availability and completeness of the tools, equipment, and facilities. The checklist of tools, equipment, and facilities is included in the assessor's guide. Prepare the candidate. The assessor shall introduce herself.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Jonas Tagner. I am Accredited Competency Assessor for Bread and Pastry in situ.
Acknowledge the presence of the TESDA representative.
I would like to acknowledge the presence of Ms. Juby Mosquito, our processing officer, our assessment center manager, Ms. Lara May Piteros, and our TESDA representative office, Mr. Brian Mosquito. You don't have to worry about their presence. They are here to oversee the competency assessment and to ensure that if they follow the prescribed methodology and procedures, they will not assess you.
Check attendance and identity of candidates and collect admission slips.
Before I start, let me first check your attendance. Please present your admission slip when your name is called. Grace Gongora. Brian Mosquito. Lidley Mosquito. Hannah Dalo. Alexei Mosquito.
Present to the candidates an accomplished application form with self-assessment guide and explain its significance.
I have here your accomplished application from results assessment guide indicating that you can perform all the unit of competency in bread and pastry in situ. I welcome all of you to our competency assessment for bread and pastry in situ. This assessment is to determine your competency level. The qualification for units of competency to be assessed are the basic, common, and core competency. For the core competency, we have 3 units of competency. First is prepare and produce bakery product. 2, prepare and produce pastry product. And 3, present dessert. Here are written tests. So this will help to measure your underpinning knowledge and skills. So I will give you 1 minute to answer these tests. Time is up. Please pass your paper. Okay, thank you. The comfort room is located at the end of the hallway. So if you need to take a meal, we have a canteen outside the assessment center. However, during the assessment, you are not allowed to leave the premises. If you have difficulty in understanding the instructions, please don't hesitate to call my attention. I'm happy to explain and to translate as needed. If you have concern also, questions or need clarification regarding the assessment, you may ask now. Okay, once the assessment is begin, questions will be no longer allowed. If you have any questions about the assessment result, you have a right to appeal. Again, you can submit your appeal to the test of provincial office where the assessment center assessor are accredited. If you pass the assessment are deemed competent, you can claim your national certificate at the provincial office after 5 working days. If you are found not competent, don't worry. You can be reassessed at your convenience. If your reassessment is full of full qualifications, you will undergo the entire assessment process. If you are found competent in some unit of competency, your reassessment will focus only the units where you were not yet competent. Last, if you fail 2 consecutive assessments, you are advised to take a refresher course before applying for reassessment. If you didn't have any questions or clarifications, I will provide you with a copy of a specific instructions. Please read them carefully. If you have any questions, now is the time to ask. I can translate them if needed. So you are candidate number 1, you are candidate number 2, 3, 4, and 5. So please proceed to the assessment area and while the other candidate remains here. To simulate the assessment process, 2 candidates will perform the same task. One will represent being competent and while the other will be not. For the candidate number 1 and 2, so this is your assessment area where you have performed the task of performing the bread and pastry. So have you read the specific questions? If you have any questions, once the assessment is started, you will not be able to ask questions. So you may now begin.
registration, the candidate will be asked a series of questions based on her performance. The candidate number 1 is able to answer all the questions asked by the assessor.
Candidate number 1, so how do you feel about your assessment?
Sir, I am confidently that I was able to perform well during my assessment, even if I am having a hard time during the written test and oral questions.
Candidate number 2 will also be able to answer the questions, though some of her answers are incorrect.
Candidate number 2, how do you feel about your assessment?
I felt so nervous when performing the assessment because I forgot the proper sequence of making bread and pastry, and I almost passed out during the assessment.
Record and rating sheet details of evidence collected and judgment made about the candidate's performance. Provide feedback on the assessment. The assessor must provide candidate about the outcomes of the assessment process.
You answered all the oral questioning correctly. Overall, you are competent. So minor flaws were observed, but they did not affect your overall competence. So please sign the cards and your rating sheets. Okay, thank you. So you may claim your national certificate at the TESDA Provincial Office after 5 working days.
Thank you, sir.
Providing negative feedback. It is recommended that you carry out the following recommendations. Be positive without raising any false expectations.
Okay, so unfortunately, you did not meet the competency requirements in some areas. Please sign the cards and the rating sheets. Okay, thank you. If you are not satisfied with the result, you may file the appeal at the TESDA Provincial Office. Do you have any questions? Thank you.
Record and report the result. The assessor shall record the assessment outcome. Ensure rating sheets are signed by the candidate after providing feedback. Accomplish the competency assessment result summary. Submit to the Assessment Center Manager assessment reports. The Assessment Center Manager will give the documents to the processing officer to accomplish the Registry of Workers Assessed and Certified. Signed Registry of Workers Assessed and Certified. After accomplishing the Registry of Workers Assessed and Certified, the processing officer will ask the assessor and assessment center manager to sign before passing it on together with the other documents to the TESDA representative. The TESDA representative will then deliver the documents to the designated TESDA office.